Hello, my name is Christopher Terry, CEO of iMarketsLive, and we are going to discuss the Dream Maker. So we have a video that you may have watched on our website, and we also have the track record that you may have looked at on our website and are considering buying the IML Dream Maker. I want to put up a couple of pictures real quick and we can discuss them, and that way I can give you a little bit more detail about the IML Dream Maker. The IML Dream Maker was born out of a trend following model that the market is within a trending period, whether it is an hourly chart, a 4-hour chart, a daily chart, and it trades the EUR USD, which is the highest volume pair in the Forex world. So as I said, it's a trend following model. Basically, it's buying retracements within a trend and selling them out as the market continues moving higher. It does have its risks, it does have its drawdown, it also has its upside. And as you see, the market has done really well during the period of the model that we were trying to put together so we could show our members. So let me just increase this a little bit here. A couple of things I want to point out. That the IML Dream Maker, as we said in the video, where Alex said in the video, it's not a day trading vehicle, which means if you get in on September 25th and you're exiting, or between September 25th and March 2015, that this was not being traded every single day. All right. We have to take a look at the total number of trades that had happened during a period of time. At this time, it was being traded was about 50 trades roughly. And that was over a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 month period, which means it gets into a trade and it holds it for an average of 3 days. Now, what that means, if the market, if it had gotten to the market, it may have held it for 3 hours. Or it may have held it for as much as 3 weeks. We've had trades that lasted that long. The average win and average loss. The average win was about 118 pips. The average loss was about 85. The percentage it won and the percentage it won on longs and shorts. So we see that overall it has a good winning percentage. We see that the market is not very active, which means, let's just say you get the Dream Maker on September, or you got the Dream Maker on October 1st, and its first trade lasted maybe a week. So let's just say you purchased the Dream Maker October 2nd, and the first trade was existing, so you would have not gotten a signal until the following signal was generated. So one thing, first off, it's not a day trading model, which means you're not going to have trades going in and out every single day. That's not the intention. Number two, it's a swing trade model, which may take a trade for hours, days, or even a couple of weeks. So when you're looking at the iMarketsLive Dream Maker, when you're purchasing it and you get started, you may not have a trade for a day or a week. That is all up to the market and when it provides an opportunity. When it does start providing the opportunities that you are participating in, then you start looking at that track record going forward and what you're expecting to see. So let me take a look at another chart right here. Let's take it back to September, end of September into October. So over the period between September 25th and October, looks like the first week of October, it's created a $15,000 profit. So during that course of that period, it took time to get there, but it was not based just on 10,000. It was compounding the profits and also reducing the trade size on when it drew down. So when it was increasing the trade size to accommodate the count at the time, but yet when the account decreased, it decreased the trade size. So the IML Dream Maker is designed to adjust for your account size. and the drawdown periods, and also when it increases. So it does its own thinking for you. Now, what we want to take a look at here is the IML Dreammaker was designed not to be looked at over a day or a month or over a couple of months. You need a sample size over several months to say this is how it's working, because let's just say you had 3 trades in a row that were successful. Great. But let's just say you got in right here, and what if the next couple of trades were not successful, but yet it continued to create those successes going up? So you have to give the IML Dreammaker a fair shake, as they call it in New York. You give something a fair shake, which means you get in, you let it go, and you let it operate. You let it continue to build as it proceeds to go forward in the future. I look at this, and my whole goal when we built IML, the IML Dreammaker, was essentially to beat the banks at their own game. The way the banks work, so you understand, is they're able to leverage money. So when you put your money, for instance, let's just take this $10,000 deposit right here. The same $10,000 deposit you put into the account right there. Let's just take this over a 1-year period. At the end of 1 year, the bank will pay you 1%. They're going to pay you, it looks like 10%, $100. So they're going to pay you roughly $100 on your $10,000 deposit in 1 year. They're paying you 1%. What the banks did was they took your money and they put it to work, and they let their automated robots, they let their traders, they do a combination of things between stocks, bonds, forex, futures, but essentially they take your money and they leverage it 100 times, 200 times, and they let it grow and compound. This is an example of a real account, a real performance over 5.5 months. But if we annualize this, this is a 600% return. So $10,000 will have generated $60,000 in profits over the course of 1 year. So if we were to leave this alone and not touch it, it would potentially generate between $50,000 and $70,000 in profit money. The banks do the same exact thing. There is nothing different that the banks does. They take your money and they compound it over a period of time. They turn around after that year, after they've made $50,000 or $60,000 or $70,000 on your $10,000, and they pay you $100. That's how the banking industry works. That's why the banks are the biggest money earners in the planet. The biggest part of the bank's income is from trading. So we are beating the banks at their own game. I would rather let the IML Dreammaker work for me over the 12-month period than keep my money in any bank for 100 years. Because if you think about it, to even double your money, the amount of time it takes is ridiculous. So that's from the banks. If you think about it, it would take, 10 years or more, 100 years? So when considering getting the IML Dreammaker, we want to give you that step approach to success. And it's like anything, all right? We're in trading. IML is also in network marketing, and we understand a couple of steps forward, a few steps back, a couple of steps forward, a few steps back, a couple of steps forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. And sometimes you'll get those large runs, right? We gave a limitation on how much it can lose and also win, as you see here, all right? So the market, our product has its targets, it has its risk zones. It's phenomenal. We're excited about it. So as I said, we have our trade summary, our trade information here we can go through. And if we look at the trade summary area, 684 pips on the long side, short side gave about 1,800 pips in that same 47 trade period, as you see all the detail. So money is made on leverage and on compounding in the financial industry, and that's what creates wealth. Now, I've been asked, what's the difference between the IML Dreammaker and the trade signal service? Well, it's simple. The trade signal service, which is included in your $95 auto ship, gives you a signal. We either buy or we sell. We buy long or we sell short. We manage the trade in and out. We send it on a one lot strategy. We don't manage your money. You have to manage all the risk, all the trade size and everything. We don't handle that for you. You would handle that on your own. So you would determine this is the amount of money in your account, this is the size you would want. So if the market is increased or decreased based on our trade signal, you would have to adjust that. The IML Dreammaker does that for you. It knows how much you have. It knows how much to increase and decrease. The other thing is we work so many hours in a day on the signal service. We provide the signals, and when we see it, that's it. With the IML Dreammaker, it's working 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. The markets open on Sunday night Eastern time, and they stay open until the following Friday night Eastern time. And it's always consistently looking for opportunities, so it's never going to miss anything. We also designed the IML Dreammaker to work with you. For instance, we look at it as your trading buddy or your own personally hired trader that you actually can duplicate your time and leverage your money. And what do I mean by that? Since we are traders, and since we're also in the network marketing industry, we understand duplication. You duplicate in the network marketing arena, and we want to work, for instance, a person with working 2 hours a day building iMarketsLive has a team of 100 doing 2 hours a week. That's 200 hours a week that you've duplicated your time. We look at this in the trading side in the same fashion because while you're working at your job or your business or traveling, the IML Dreammaker is working 5 days a week for you, 24 hours a day, never takes a break. So in essence, you are basically technically always working and earning money, never stopping. The other thing we look at is what kind of security the IML Dreammaker can bring to somebody in the future. The security is that, as we said in the video, as Alex said in the video, your income where you are right now is based on your ability to perform, based on your ability to work. If you were to go to work one day and your boss says to you, sorry, we don't have any work anymore, or we're too slow, or we're downsizing, or some excuse that they typically make, and they take your legs out from under you because you are reliant on that income to afford to pay for your family's bills and your kids going to school or whatever else you have going on, the IML Dreammaker is always working. Our goal, and a goal for you should be to have the IML Dreammaker hit a point where it's compounded enough that you're at 50,000, 100,000, and it's creating you a full-time return on your investment. Meaning that if you put 10,000, it goes over a period of time. Before you know it, you have a full-time monthly income coming at you based on what's happening that month. You are not going to be successful if you make money in 1 month and take it out, and then make money in 1 month and take it out, make money in one month and take it out. You're never going to realize and appreciate the leverage and the compounding ability that money can do for you. What I suggest is you put your money into a trading account or an investment vehicle and you let it build over a period of time. I would not put anything other than risk capital, money you can afford to put into something that you're not going to need right away. If you're going to put $10,000, for example, it could be $1,000, but I'm showing you the chart here. If you put money into the IML Dreammaker, your goal is not to take it out until it's really compounding and building and building and building. Unlike all these other quote unquote programs out there, that where you compound your money with their quote unquote points and however, whatever they call it, that's all on paper that you can't take out where the company eventually goes out of business. This is real, okay? You can put your money into an account. You can take it out immediately. That's up to you. It's your money. It also, when it compounds, that's your money. If you choose to, at some point, say, you know what? I've built an account where it's hit 40,000, 50,000, and every month it's generating 10,000 or 5,000 or whatever, and you want to pull it out, that's fine. But a trader has long-term view, and we like to see things grow and compound, and that's where the wealth is created. That's why traders are the largest income earners in the world, hands down. This is what I've been teaching. This is what I continue to teach, and this is the practice we want you to try for yourself. You are in full control of the IML Dreammaker. You turn it on and you let it go. It does all the trading for you. But if you at some point decide you want to turn it off, you turn it off. It's that simple. You're in full control of your Dreammaker. It's never going to be a runaway market. It's never going to lose all your money in one night. It doesn't do that. Every trade has its own limitations to the upside and also to the downside. When targets are hit, that's it. When stops are hit, that's it. So you're protected both on the risk side and also the profit side. It locks in profits as it goes. So I want you to consider the IML Dreammaker, as I said, your trading buddy that works for you whether you are working or not. If for some reason you can't go to work, you're sick, or you decide you have to, or you want to retire, or they retire you, or like I said, your company goes out of business, or it's slow, the security feature in this is that it's never going to stop working. It's always going to perform. It's always seeking to make money, and it's always looking for opportunities. If you compare what we do with the IML Dreammaker, as I said, if you look at the banks and how they pay you, it's the banks, quite honestly, disgusting. How could they even have the face? I have to think this. How could they have the face to make hundreds of percents? And I know this because I personally know very large bank traders. I live in that world of the very large bank traders. I'm friends with many traders. That's why if you look on Wall Street, the bonuses are tens of millions of dollars. Not because the banks are making 1%, because the banks are making 500 and 700 and 1,000% on your deposits, and they pay you a measly 1%. I'm sorry, if you put it in a CD, it's 2%. Here, let me show you an example. On March 12th, 2015, I was looking on the internet and I was looking for what the banks are returning. I want to point this one slide out to you. On this slide, it's March 12th, 2015. On this side of the equation, in the bottom here, the above example is for illustration purposes and not indicative of any investment. Account value in this example assumes, look at this, a 7% annual return, and the source is JP Morgan Asset Management. If you don't know this, JP Morgan is one of the largest banks in the planet. Compounding refers to the process of earning return on principal plus the return that was earned earlier. Wow. So they basically show how you could take $5,000 a year over a period of time, and it compounds 1,100% over that period. The problem what they have with this is there's no such thing as an annual return of 7% since 1984. Okay, it's important we show this so you understand the power of the IML Dreammaker. In 1986, here we are, 1986, 85, we were at roughly 7%. You can see here the prime rates and everything. But going forward, look at the decrease, the decrease, the decrease. So there's never been 40 years of an average return of 7% ever. What we have here is interest rates are at historical lows right now. They're nearly zero, below, at or below 1%. On the right side, we look at the Ally Bank, 1.29% annual return for a CD, but they lock up your money for 2 years. That means they take your $10,000, they give you $130 per year for 2 years. So that's how the banks work. That's why the banks are the largest income earners in the world. So we look at the IML Dreammaker as our own personal trader. Okay, we look at the IML Dreammaker. This is the one that's on the site where it has run for nearly 6 months and has traded 53 times. It roughly earned at about 147.5%, and as we see, a $25,000 account. Now, how does the banks leverage the money? How do they make compounding on it? Well, we do the same thing. The IML Dreammaker is doing the same exact thing. Your $10,000 account is leveraged many times that. So if we look here, the margin the margin for trading is $2,000 for every 100,000 in currency, which means it's going to take $2,000 of your money to leverage $100,000 in currency. So if we look here, 2,000 times 5 is 10,000. 10,000 times 50 is 500,000. So our IML Dreammaker is looking at this originally as $500,000. And that's why it can earn $500 and $1,000 and so on each trade. If we really look at it, on $500,000, the market is creating a very, very small profit. Right now, it's at around $25,000. Well, if we multiply that by 50, this is at $1.2 million in currency leverage. So that's why the IML Dreammaker is able to perform at higher levels and compound. Again, folks, the same way the banks do. We essentially have figured out how to beat the banks at their own game, hands down, bar none. I wanted to spend a little time going through this, answering some of the questions that you may have. So, number one, it's not a day trading vehicle. You're not going to get trades every day. You're going to get a trade after you set up your account and the IML Dreammaker finds an opportunity for you. Number one. Number two, it has limits on its performance in terms of risk and also reward. It has a risk stop and also a profit target, which means you cannot make $1 million in one trade and you cannot lose all your money overnight. We understand there is risk in trading. However, we also limit risk. We also understand that money is made through leveraging and compounding. Leveraging the money 50 times in the United States and 100 times overseas, and then compounding the growth. We just saw JP Morgan, an ad for Allied Bank, basically saying about compounding. It's not voodoo in the trading industry. It's actually encouraged. Okay, so before you go forward, just understand you do have risk, you do have immense rewards, and you do have a trading partner, essentially, that's never going to stop working. It's never going to be on its iPhone. It's never going to be on YouTube. Its job is to do one thing, to trade for you. And it's also designed, as we said in the video from Alex, to give you peace of mind. My name is Christopher Terry, and I welcome you to iMarketsLive, to the Dreammaker. We hope you purchase it and have a long-term fulfilled, profitable business with us, and we're looking forward to many successes in the future. Thank you so